Good evening, everyone. Very warm welcome to you all on the third day of Executive Development Program, which is 11th batch in the series. You being one of the members who qualified in July 2021 examination are in the corporate world, and you must be always looking for that guidance which helps you to grow. And as you have seen that we have speakers from all around the world to guide you. Today we have CA Amit Arora, who is a very well-known media personality in India and all around the world. And we are very thankful to him for accepting our invite. This initiative by Committee for Members in Industry and Business under the chairmanship of CA Ranjit Agarwal and Vice Chairman CA Dr. Raj Chawla has been one of the very important program to see that the support to young members is there at all times. We are very thankful to you for your positive feedback for the past sessions, and we hope that you will continue attending it and encouraging your friends to take benefit from the same. Some of you have asked that how we can watch the sessions which we have missed. So right now they are available on YouTube, ICI YouTube channel, and you can watch it from here, and subsequently it will be available on CMIB portal and at other places too. Now allow me to introduce CA Amit Arora. Amit is an Indian news anchor, journalist, radio jockey at All India Radio and has over 20 years of extensive experience. Amit often appears in the national news channel Doordarshan as an anchor, and he completed his graduation from University of Delhi. He is our esteemed member of our institute and has been a frequently heard voice in Independence Day, Republic Day, Olympics, cricket commentary, and interviews of various personalities. Earlier, he also worked as a financial management specialist with the United Nations. He believes that as an anchor needs to do a thorough research on a topic before presenting it to the audience. The most important thing is to simplify and sort the content in a simple manner so that it becomes easy for the viewers and the listeners to understand. Amit carries an optimistic mindset to work and handles different situations easily. He says one should have a calm mind to deal with the live sessions under the in-building pressure. For Amit, health is very paramount and he loves humor. Thank you so much, Amitji, for being here with us again today, and thank you so much for your continued support to this initiative since the beginning of this series. And without further ado, members are patiently looking to hear you, and I request all of you present here to please give a big virtual round of applause for C. Amit Arora. And Amitji, the screen is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, C.A. Prabdeep ji, for that kind introduction and the virtual applause. Thank you to Hari ji and all the members of the team who are helping you get this live broadcast, if I can say. That's the magic of virtual world, that wherever you are, we can get connected through technology. My gratitude to the Committee for Members in Industry and Business. I think it's a brilliant initiative to have a series like this, because together when we interact, we can learn from each other. And let me also congratulate the July 2021 batch, which I believe is specifically in attendance for this Executive Development Program series. So my name is CA Amit Arora, and I would like to request everyone in attendance that as we have this session today on interview preparation, if you've got any questions, then make sure that it's an interactive session. and you do reach out to us with your questions. And when we have your questions, we'll give them the priority because your questions will always be the topmost priority for us. So let's start. Welcome aboard the ICAI, and let's rededicate ourselves to the motto of our dear Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, which is a quotation from the Kathopanishad, Ya Eshu Supteshu Jagriti. So if that's the quote, which means that the person who's awake in that, those who are sleeping, it calls upon us to be extra vigilant, right? And therefore, when the opportunity comes our way, it's essential that we are adequately prepared for it. So as I said, that we've got 1 hour with us. If you've got any questions, you can tweet me as well at am I good, or in the viewing link that has been provided to you, there is a box that reads type your question. You can write your question there, press the submit button. It'll reach Prabdeep ji, and I'll request him that when we have questions, then please do share those with us. So let's begin. See, this is the wealth creation cycle, and it all begins with skills. And the degree of CA is nothing but a certain skill set. And that skill will then help you understand budgeting, understand income expenses, ensure there are savings. Those savings are put to efficient investment, and that leads to growth. So that's the cycle. So what's the keyword? Skill set. And a CA course is nothing but a certain skill set. Now, what could be that skill set? So if I had to say A, B, C, D, E, F of the skill set, I'll say A for analysis, soft skill. A for accounting system, technical skill. B, brainstorming, soft skill. Budgeting, technical skill. C, I would say communicate with compassion. When I say communicate with compassion means that when you are saying something in an interview, make sure that you're very calm, the choice of words is good enough, and you're understanding yourself what you're trying to communicate. So communicate with compassion. The technical skill with C would be compliances. So a CA is well versed with different laws, whether the Companies Act, the Income Tax Act, FCRA, FEMA. So whatever you have skill at in any legislation, all of those compliances. D, soft skill, I'll say decision making. Very essential. And the more you decide for yourself, the less validation you require from the society. Technical skill, D, would be documentation. In our profession, keeping documents correctly is a great skill. D could also be for digitization. In the era of data being the asset it is, it could well be digitization too. E would be ethics, technical skill, evaluation. F, soft skill, would be fun. So the entire process, whether of the interview or working wherever, should be absolute joyful. Goddess Saraswati blesses only those candidates, everyone, who's learning joyfully. So make sure you enjoy the entire process. And the technical skills from F will be financial statements. So when I say it all starts with skills, so it could be analysis, it could be brainstorming, it could be skill of communication, it could be skill of decision making, ethics, or having fun. So that's the skill set, okay? And we have to constantly upgrade that. Any candidate will be able to upgrade the skill if they are teachable. They're open to learning. And I believe in the present day and age, if you've got a mobile connection and access to internet, you've got access to the whole world. So let's really split now the entire experience of the interview in 3 broad categories. 1, what should we do before the interview, during the interview, and finally after the interview. So if I had to kind of put up some bullet points of what you could do now ahead of the interview, I'll say study the business model of the organization in which you are appearing. Then most important, study your own resume. We've actually observed many times that sometimes some of us may just copy paste something in our resume. We ourselves may not be knowing what we have written. Or even if we had written something earlier, it may not necessarily hold good now. Or maybe it needs to be upgraded. So make sure that you have studied your own resume, and if there is anything that is not in sync or aligned to your career, just take it out. The third aspect is storytelling. What I mean from that is that whatever your experience of life so far has been, whether of the articleship days or per se your experience of living 20-25 years of life, you should write some interesting stories that have happened to you. You should develop the content reserve that support your skill set and core values. So say for example, if in an interview you say I am good in analysis, okay, or you say I'm good at budgeting, that's the skill set you're supporting, then they are going to certainly ask you, can you help us understand how do you support that you are good in data analytics? So you should have a story, some experience that is very unique to yourself, right? Not generic. The fourth thing we're going to discuss is get comfortable with the media. See, these days with work from home, you never know that the interview could actually happen online, like we are having this session right now. So get comfortable. Are you going to give the interview on Zoom, on say platform we are currently on, Blue Jeans? Would it be on Skype? Would it be on telephone? Would it be face to face? So these days you've got such multimedia that it should not happen that when you have your interview, that's the first time you are experiencing that media. So that's why mock practice becomes very important. So in our session today, we'll do some mock practice also. I've prepared some questions for you. And again, if you've got any answers or any questions on those, make sure that you submit the question or tweet at my Twitter address. So let's look at studying the business model of the organization. So briefly, what I expect of you that this should be bare minimum. Start by knowing the vision of that organization. Vision means where is the organization right now? Where does it want to go? That is the vision. What's mission? That I am here right now. I want to go here. How will I go? That's mission. How will I traverse this journey? Mission. And while I travel that journey, every organization has certain core values. And they will ask you these in the interview. Even if they don't ask, they will certainly ask your core values. And they will check whether your core values are in alignment with the core values of the organization. So you should be smart enough to know what's the core value of the organization. It could be respect, it could be innovation, it could be embracing technology, it could be excellence, it could be commitment. Every organization you will find when you go to their website will have their vision, mission, core values. The other aspect, of course, is understand the legal status of the organization. Is it a company? Is it a private limited company? Is it an LLP? Is it a society? What's the nature? What do they do? So visit the website, look at their revenue model. If there are annual reports, make sure that you have a cursory glance. Any specific accomplishments in the recent past, and of course, a little bit on the key personnel. Always good to know. The more you invest, the more comfortable you will be during the interview and you'll answer well. Some of the other things you could do while preparing for the interview in terms of what innovative questions they can ask, I think the best part is to see what is it that is being discussed around in the global conferences. Now, I'm sure most of our fraternity members are aware that come November of 2022, India is going to be the proud host of World Congress of Accountants. If you look at the background, the virtual background of Prabdeep ji, you'll realize that's the background he's having, the World Congress one. And more, all of us are going to have that only. So if you look at the tentative agenda of the World Congress of Accountants, because if you go to the ICI website on the homepage, you'll see that the registration process for this conference has started. So what are the 8 themes that we are discussing there? Those are so let's at least invest little time in each of these themes. I'm very sure that these are going to be discussed in any interview. If this is being discussed in the World Congress, that means this is very relevant. Somebody has already done the hard work for you. So what are the themes? 1, role of accounting profession in enabling sustainability. So if you do not know what does it mean, ask. Ask right now. Don't get stumped when something like this is asked in the interview. So what is sustainability? That means we are not just talking about profits. Business also needs to focus on people and planet. COVID has taught us that. COVID has taught us all of that, right? Businesses no longer can continue to just operate with profits in mind and not bothered about waste management, energy conservation, water conservation. It won't do. So sustainability was important all these years. Perhaps we ignored it at the cost of development as humanity. But time has come that we focus on sustainability with rejuvenated force. That's why one of the important topics, role of accounting profession in enabling sustainability. Write your own thoughts, discuss among your peer groups. I won't be surprised if they ask you a question or two on this. Second theme, global collaboration for inclusive growth. So now the key word here is inclusive. See, whether India or any country, we are not going to become developed by only a handful of people becoming rich. This has to be an inclusive growth. So I hope the word inclusive is clear. Second, for us to be inclusive, there has to be global collaboration. Now look at how when COVID happened, it wasn't as if any country did not need the support of other countries. India needed support, but India also gave support. So when we had manufactured our own vaccine, we also ensured that whatever best we could do for the other countries, we did that. So there was that vaccine diplomacy, right? So global collaboration. The third topic, growing importance of digital technologies. So with the COVID coming, there has been an enhanced push towards businesses embracing digital technologies. More and more businesses in which you are going to give interview are going to ensure that you are tech savvy. Not that we expect you to know everything, but at least, okay, little bit, what is artificial intelligence? Little bit, what is blockchain? What is crypto? What is cyber security? What is data analytics? Write a paragraph each on each of these digital technologies. And then make sure that in the era of YouTube, watch a few videos, develop your understanding. Nothing like self-study. Nothing like, debating among the peer group. The fourth topic, integrity, ethical leadership, and trust. See, with so much of data and everything, integrity is very important. Today, you order a meal on any particular site, they have your data. If any day you believe that the business is not going to be protecting your data with integrity, you are not going to go ahead with that business model. So ethics becomes even more important. The fifth topic, global trends in accounting, auditing, corporate governance, and taxation. So what are the global trends? Because if we are talking about global collaboration for inclusive growth, the tools also have to have collaboration. So have a closer look at the standards. What are the new accounting, auditing, or forensic standards being made, or say public accounting standards being made? The next one is nurturing innovation, fintech, and startups. Look at how in the last decade, some of the unicorns are in the fintech space. So look at how they are nurturing innovation. Then future ready profession. So you've qualified in July 2021. You have to really look at the next 2, 3, 4 years. What is it that the profession would demand of a professional? And that is what they will seek in the interview as well. And finally, strengthening public financial management. Now, all these years, we focused a lot on companies, private limited company. But one may say we may have conveniently ignored laying emphasis on more transparency in the public financial management. So what is PFMS, Public Financial Management System? How does government operate, whether at the center, state, Gram Panchayat? This is going to be one key area going forward, because more and more vibrant, strong democracies would ask of greater transparency and accountability of their respective governments. So those are the thematic issues. Now coming to the media, like I told you, practice if there is a virtual session. Make sure that you are very comfortable where to place your laptop, and make sure that when you're sitting for the interview, you've got your register in which you can note, you've got your pen absolutely in hand, so that if they ask you something, you can always note, right? If your interview is happening online, it could well be for 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Make sure that there's a glass of water absolutely ready, so that if you have to drink water, you can always have a sip. And don't be shy of taking a sip of water. So everything done with grace is absolutely okay. Just be yourself. What you need not do is that you should not be running around to fetch yourself with some water. They won't say anything, but they won't like it, right? Make sure that your constant companion, your cell phone, is switched off. The last thing you want is your colorful collar tune being heard by every member of the jury. Not good. Okay? So make sure that if it's an online interview, you're preparing yourself for all of these things. If it is an interview that's happening on phone, that doesn't mean that you don't dress up or you don't groom yourself, because they may not be able to see you, but still you should be really fresh, absolutely alert, very conscious of yourself, because you are saying something which is which is kind of demonstrating your personality. So you should be very conscious of putting the best foot forward. Okay? So whether you have an audio interview or on Skype or on virtual medium or the traditional face-to-face, whatever is the media, make sure that you're very comfortable and you understand that media. So let's do some mock practice now. I'll be asking you a few questions and let's see if we get some answers. How about if an innovative question is asked? Do you prefer to make plans or be spontaneous? How will you respond? So the trick here is that they would like to know your answer. And more these days in interviews, you will find questions being asked that test the personality of the candidate. Okay? So there is no right or wrong answer. You can say here that I make plan because I believe that organized schedule is better. Somebody can say I'm spontaneous, that's my strength. I'm saying both is perfectly fine. So don't stress. Whatever is your personality trait, I think be natural. Because the whole idea of the interview is that it is a conversation between two parties, the interviewer and the interviewee. The interviewer knows that the organization needs such and such skill set. The candidate also has a certain skill set. The idea is whether both match. So if they're looking for somebody with a more conservative approach, then when you say that you make plans a little more conservative, maybe you are a better candidate. When they demand that no, we are in innovative field, we need somebody dynamic who can be nimble footed, then when you say I'm spontaneous, maybe that person is better suited. So there is no right or wrong. And don't try to also not project a personality of yours, which is not you. Because if you try to fake it, one, you may not end up cracking the interview because somewhere in the questions you will contradict yourself. The other, even if you were to succeed in the interview, maybe in the longer run, this will not be a position that you're going to sustain at because you never shared your true personality. Okay? Let's see if we have got any answers so far.
Yeah, I will. We haven't received any Amitji yet. Yeah.
No problem. So I think that the entire conversation is also on the YouTube. So when on the YouTube people are going to watch this, they can take this exercise. They should answer these questions, okay, and practice it. So whenever I ask a question, I will wait for 5-10 seconds just so that that pause gives you time to think through, and then I will share my understanding of what possible answers could be. But I would want that whenever you are accessing this, because this video is there for everyone to see for posterity, make sure that you answer and then see that, hear the analysis also. Okay, another mock practice. They could well ask you, describe how you prepared for this interview. So I'm giving 10 seconds for every viewer to just think through.
Amitji, we received one comment for your
Yes.
earlier question. We have Ashwini who has mentioned prefer plans.
Okay. Very nice. So like I said, Ashwini, we can pick either of them and make sure that if they supplement their question, then why Ashwani, how does it help you to make plans? Then you can add further that in my experience, making plan helps me manage time better or helps my scheduling better, and that leads to better efficiency, whichever way. So that's fine, but make sure that you decide. Okay. In terms of the second question, describe how you prepared for this interview. Again, be honest with whatever has been your line of action. So, like we discussed, you can say, well, from the time I received the interview call, I invested by going to the website of the organization. I had access to an annual report. I read that. I had a look at the last set of audited financials. Whatever you want to say. If it's a limited company, you could say, I've been tracking the share price of the organization for last couple of weeks. If you have invested yourself in the stock, no harm in mentioning that as well. So I'm saying that whatever you want to say, make sure it's a unique answer. You are in control of what you're saying, and you are able to give an impression that yes, you have not just appeared with parachute entry for the interview. There has been some dedicated effort to understand the company, the key personnel, its vision, its mission, its core values. So make sure that whatever has been your thought process or the experience of preparation, you put forward. The next question I want everyone to think through as part of a mock interview session. What if the interviewer asks the candidate, how do you spend your spare time? Okay, now, so the catch here is that mental health these days is of paramount importance. Now, if a candidate says, well, I'm a workaholic, I work very hard, I hardly get any spare time. Trust me, this is not going to get you any brownie points. Because if I want to offer anyone manager plus position, I would rather have somebody who's got work-life balance. And trust me, if somebody has spare time, that's a good thing. Okay? So make sure that you don't utter something that doesn't reflect your personality. Everybody needs spare time. Nobody can work 24/7. Nobody wants to work every time, right? So, very happily, if you have thought through, and this is where all storytelling and the content reserve that I had mentioned earlier as part of the preparation ahead of the interview comes, that you have already got some stories. So, the moment they say, how do you spend your spare time? Again, with a smile on your face, a pleasant personality, you can say, well, when I get spare time, I like reading books. I like cooking. I like spending time with family. I like traveling. I like exploring new destinations. I like enrolling for a course. I like to upgrade my skills. I'm saying there's so much, and they're only going to appreciate that. But make sure that you don't lie. It's not as if you say, when I get spare time, I like to upgrade my skills. Okay? You say, I like to upgrade my skills. Then they will going to ask you, okay, can you tell me any course recently that you've joined? And say you have not joined anything. So no lies. Okay? Because if you're saying something, then integrity is so very essential. And that has to be truth. That has to be supported by an example also if they come back with a supplemental question. Now, the next question I want you everyone to think through. When was the last time you took a risk and how was the experience? Okay, so I think everyone would agree that when we talk about running a business, managing a business or financial management, there is risk involved. We all have started in SFM, higher risk, higher return. So this question should not surprise you. When was the last time you took a risk and how was the experience? Now, you should have some examples ready where you could narrate that you have the risk-taking ability. Okay? So make sure that you can take 2, 3, 4 seconds, but then you come up with some story. Okay? It could be as simple as, well, the last time I took a risk was last week when I bought, say, the shares of HDFC Bank. And I thought that probably it will do well. But only yesterday when the quarterly results came out, they did not show any growth in the last quarter. And the price of the stock went nosedived and they lost 200 rupees per share. I'm saying whatever you want to say, but make sure it's a beautiful story, right? It should not be something generic that 99 out of 100 people are going to say. It does not cut any ice. you should give unique examples which are part of your journey of life. And I'm sure each one of us in our respective capacity, every day, every now and then is taking a risk. Okay. So if you've taken some business risk, share that. Even if it is having some humor, even if you ended up having some loss, that's fine. So you can say, well, as far as the experience is concerned, when I took that risk, I got higher returns. Or you can say I ended up losing money, but overall it was an experience of lifetime. Okay. The whole idea the interviewer wants to check is, do you have the risk management ability? Right? And you know, risk management is such a critical skill set when it comes to a chartered accountant. Okay? The idea is, can I measure the risk? Can I preempt the risk? And then do I have the tools to manage it? That is what we're checking here. The next question, what skills of yours, technical or otherwise, have helped you the most at your workplace? See, again, it all boils down to the skill set. Ultimately, why are we doing this interview? Because you've got two parties involved and they're matching the skill set that is required of each other. So it is an open-ended question. What skills of yours have helped you the most at your workplace? So up to you. You can say, well, I bring with me technical competency. My 3 years of articleship have honed my skills, say, in auditing to a level where I consider myself very proficient. And that enables me to do the statutory audit in a very professional manner. That could well be the answer. If you don't want to go the technical way, you can go with soft skills also. You can say, well, I have health-seeking behavior and I am somebody who would like to invest in health, ensuring that the immunity is very high. I am very particular about having nutrition in my diet, and the way it has helped me at the workplace is that I can work 8 hours with great concentration. So I'm saying, be it technical, be it a softer side, any particular skill that helps you be more productive and efficient at the workplace. Create your own story. Create your own content reserve. When you have created your content reserve on that particular day, it is all about recalling the right answer, matching the question. The questions are all going to be checking your skill set. At the end of the day, we are hiring a certain skill set for a certain job. Okay, now there could be some innovative questions as well, just to see whether you get stumped or you could still answer. What if the interviewer asks you at the end of it all, as they say, save the best for the last, which dessert you like the most? Let's wait for 10 seconds if anybody wants to at least answer that. Otherwise, we'll ask Prabdeep ji his answer. I'm sure he has liking for desserts.
Yes. We have some comments. Ashwini has written many comments, and he says that I have refreshed few chapters that I felt important for this job, studied about company, reading novels. Being a mother of 2-year baby, took CA exam in July 21, and I'm here. Exams during COVID time against in-law decision, my reading and analysis skill, and ice cream is the answer which we have got for the desert.
Okay, and your answer, Prabdeep ji? Which dessert?
I like rasmalai.
So I'm saying that if the interviewer asks this question, make sure that you do answer it. So somebody can answer rasmalai, somebody can say ice cream, somebody can say gulab jamun, and see how even the answer to this question will reflect your personality. What if somebody says, I like strawberry ice cream? That means this guy is a very specific guy. Okay, very specific. Not that he eats any ice cream. He eats only strawberry ice cream. Okay, so they are checking your personality. And the other aspect that they're checking is your vocabulary. What if they ask you this question, what dessert you like the most? And somebody ends up answering, well, I like Sahara desert. Means that, it's a question mark or a communication gap. So dessert, right? Dessert is the sweet thing that we eat at the end of the meal. And the other dessert is that, Rajasthan desert or the Run of Kutch. So make sure that you hear properly and make sure that you answer as well. And make sure that you do answer, because the last thing you want is they ask you such a sweet question, which dessert you like the most, and you end up saying, no, I don't like desserts. That's also okay, but I'm saying that it's always nice to pick an answer. Okay, let's come to the second part. We've done what's part we need to do ahead of the interview. So ahead of the interview, 1, we need to understand the company. 2, we need to study our Three, we need to understand the media, which media we are using to send out the message. And fourth, make sure that you practice. The mock interviews is very essential. Write your answers, share your answers, then express yourself so that at least you get the handle on the words and the choice of words and the manner in which you are going to convey your thoughts. Let's come to what we need to be mindful of during the interview. So here I have made an acronym, interview, INTERVIEW, where I would stand for in time, N for next question, T for time management or technology, E for eye contact, R respond consciously, V vocabulary, I innovation, E ethics or examples, and finally W for wit. Wit means humor. Let's quickly discuss each one of them. I, in time, essentially reminds you that you should reach your interview destination in time. In time means 10, 15, 20 minutes ahead of time. On time means absolutely on that time. So not on time, in time. Okay? Say if your interview is scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow, then if you have to reach the venue, you should be there by say 8:40, 8:45. Trust me, reaching 15, 20 minutes early would actually make or mar your interview, because you need some time just to settle yourself. You reach the venue, you settle yourself, you can go to the washroom, you can have some water and just wait for some time. And during that time also, you can actually see what's happening around in the office. And when you have some margin, there is no panic. No need to press the panic button. No way you are going to lose your breath away. Okay? And if your breath is in control, then you can answer in a very calm manner. So reaching in time is of great importance. Similarly, if it is a virtual interview, say tomorrow 9 in the morning, make sure that you log in 15 minutes in advance. Okay? At least 10 minutes in advance. Because sometimes, opening the laptop, getting the connection, where is the password, where is the username, everything takes time. So make sure that you have logged in. And once you log in, they may allow you a minute before, but at least you've logged in. Okay? Check your audio, check your video, check the virtual background. If there's anything specific they've demanded, make sure that everything is in order. All of that will happen only when you are making sure that you are in time for the interview. Very essential. Reaching a few minutes early. The next thing is N, next question. It means that you should have the ability of preempting what next question they can ask. What's the next question they can ask? Okay? So say for example, you tell them that I am good at analysis. What do you think they're going to ask you in return? Yes, absolutely right. They're going to ask you, can you give me an example to support that you're good in analysis? Okay? So whatever you are saying in your previous answer will lead them to ask you the next question. So you could be smart enough that when you are answering a question, you should choose those words where you want them to focus on. The T is time management. When they ask you a question, make sure that you give an answer. Average time span 30 seconds. Very compelling, 40 seconds. In my opinion, don't exceed giving answers beyond 40 seconds. Let them come back again with a supplemental question. Similarly, don't give a monosyllable answer. If they ask you, tell me something about yourself, and you say, I'm a hard worker. So it's like you've not even uttered one full sentence. So neither it should be 5 seconds, neither it should be for 2, 3, 4 minutes. You should always ensure what's the right time to answer a specific question. I would say anything between 30 to 40 seconds is perfect, and that is good enough for you to convey the answer to the question that has been asked. The T could also be for technology. So I think these days, technology no longer is luxury. It is a necessity. Technology is a force multiplier. And when we talked about inclusive growth as one of the topics in the World Congress of Accountants theme, I think if we want globally inclusive growth, technology will be a great enabler. So make sure that you have a hold on the technology which is prevalent these days in businesses, and genuinely you show interest in knowing more and more about it. The E of interview is eye contact. So, see, normally it's obvious that one will be having anxiety, a little nervousness when you have an interview call. That is all only human. So I'm not saying there should be no anxiety or no nervousness. But if you're reaching your interview venue in time and you have prepared yourself well, you are going to be relaxed and calm. And a testimony to your calmness will be that you are looking the interviewers in their eye. Only when you don't reach in time, only when you have not prepared, there is no practice whatsoever of mock interviews, that you are going to see that you're not maintaining the eye contact. Your eyes will go like this, here, there, everywhere. Not good. So make sure that whether through a digital platform or through physical interviews, you should maintain proper eye contact. In a digital format, your eyes should maintain the contact with the camera, right? Right in the center of the camera. So in Doordarshan television, we call it PTC, piece to camera. And that means you have to look in the camera and then speak. It's the piece to the camera that a journalist does. Okay, so eye contact, very essential. R, respond consciously. So what does this mean? This means that when the interviewer asks you a question, don't hurry to just give the answer. That is reacting. Don't react. If you will react, one, maybe you don't hear his question properly. You have probably cut his question midway. You have not understood it properly. You have not given yourself that extra second to think through the right answer. So there is no need for you to react. When the interviewer is asking you a question, let him or her complete the question. Pause is such an essential element of effective communication. Let there be a pause for a second or two, and then you respond. And that should be the case to any question. Not that you respond to a couple of questions but react to another two. No matter whether you know the answer to a question or not, there is no need for you to hurry up answering. Okay? Whatever they are asking, let them ask. Let there be a pause. And then you respond. Because when you respond, you'll respond consciously. When you will react, you're going to react impulsively. And therefore vulnerable to make mistakes. We is vocabulary. Now, depending on the language in which you are appearing for the interview, you should endeavor to increase your vocabulary in that language. So if you are going to appear for an interview in English language, make sure it should not happen that you have the thought in your mind, but you're not able to articulate the words. For someone to weave the words more effectively, it's essential that they have new words added to their dictionary. This is not going to happen overnight. My humble request to every aspirant who wants to have a better handle on the language will be one new word every day. Not asking for too much, just one new word every day. So when you read newspaper, when you read anything on which you can lay your hands on, if you come across a particular word that you have no knowledge on, go to dictionary.com. Look at the meaning of the word. Write it on a piece of paper and make sure that you use it, apply it in your daily lives to get a handle on that word, and that word then becomes a part of your dictionary. So I will tell you a new word in English Hindi that I recently learned. It was uproar, and in Hindi it meant viplav. So I didn't know viplav. So now I know viplav or updrav. So uproar. Similarly, anytime you learn any Hindi word, see the meaning in English also. So you'll strengthen two of your languages. And it's always nice to have a diversified vocabulary, because not only you will be able to express yourself better, when somebody uses that word, you will be able to appreciate the meaning. Innovation is the order of the day. 75 years into independence, India is moving from being a job seeker to job creator. And therefore, increased emphasis on innovation. So look at some of these startups, look at their problem-solving approach, Look at how they are using technology. Look at how they are reaching out to customers. Look at yourself. How, as a customer, your behavior patterns are changing. How, at a click of button, almost every activity is possible. All of this is possible because somebody somewhere is using their mind better than ours. Yes? So, innovation. E-ethics. You know that even in ICI, we've got the new ethics code that came last year. So what is it that it talks about? What is ethics? What if you are in an ethical dilemma? How will you come out of it? Well, if you are in any ethical dilemma, it is very easy to come out of it if you have certain core values to which you are absolutely anchored to. That will help you the way forward whenever you are in any dilemma of life. The other E could well be examples. So when I talked about that content reserve, whether it is your articleship journey or the journey of life, on a given day, just introspect and see what all instances have happened where there is a testimony to any of the core skill set that you have, and write it down, so that when they ask you in an interview or wherever you are in a public domain, you can easily support whatever you want to convey through an example. And you would agree that we all understand better when somebody explains with examples or storytelling, or a joke, or with some sense of humor. This is only natural. So use that to your advantage. W is wit. Wit means humor. No matter where you are, no matter which topic you're discussing, there is always scope for sense of humor. And I was very happy to see that in the earlier editions of the Executive Development Program, we've had specific sessions, specific 1-hour sessions on topic of sense of humor. So you can watch those videos. Everybody's gifted with the sense of humor, I would say. It is just that some of us use it, some don't use it. But if you want to develop it or enrich yourself more of how to bring smile onto someone, make sure that you watch a few videos. But it's always nice to have a few quotes, to have some fun reserve, some instances that can bring smile to you and everyone. Okay? People like watching other people smile. Smile is contagious. So that's the least you can do. Wherever the interview offers you a chance, don't miss out on flashing a smile, or at least having a pleasant demeanor and personality. The third aspect is what do I do after the interview? As I said, don't worry too much about the outcome, whether you get through the interview or you don't get through the interview, because it depends upon multiple factors. What is it that they're looking for? And there are so many personality types. So you are absolutely fine in your own personality. It is just that for that given job, we did not want that candidate. For that given job, maybe B was suited better than C. Now that doesn't mean that you should really feel bad about it. So don't feel bad about it. Don't get the feeling, oh, they've rejected me. Nobody can reject you without your permission. Okay? So don't have all of these feelings. It is a beautiful experience. So after the interview, you should just do an introspection of the questions that were asked, the responses that you had given, any learning lessons that you could possibly take for going forward. And then, of course, on that interview itself, make sure that after a suitable time, you follow up. No harm in calling back the human resources and asking them what happened to my candidature. If they ask you for the next level, go for it. If they give you the offer letter, congratulations. If they tell you that they're not considering your candidature for the next level, you could politely accept it and ask if they can tell you the reasons why your candidature has not been considered for the next level. So make sure that you are vibrant and you are wanting to grow. Like I said, have the skills and wanting to upgrade it. So stay teachable. The entire experience has to be a beautiful experience for you. Okay? I wish you all the best for the interview. I hope that through these beautiful experiences of life, you will say that you're liking the person you're becoming. Not everyone who cracks the interview, has always cracked all interviews, right? This is just a matching that we do. Just like in marriage, we do matchmaking. It's not as if you meet one person, you end up marrying that person. When you meet 2, 3, 4 people, it is just that you're wanting to see whether your personality type will match the other person. Same with job. So we'll respect that. Very essential. So that is where I'll stop. And if there are any questions, I'm more than happy to take those questions. Um, and you can also ask me questions on my Twitter handle. Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amitji. If there are any questions, I request the members present to please type it quickly. We do have 5 minutes. And so before any question comes in, Amitji, I can ask you a question that if I have an interview tomorrow and also IPL match of my favorite team, what should I do? Whether prepare for interview or watch the match?
So the whole thing depends upon one key word: priority. You know, life is a beautiful journey. There are so many things a particular person can do. The question that the candidate needs to ask is, what's the priority for me? Do I need to watch Virat Kohli bat, or is it important for me to bat? Right now, it's important for me to bat, right? I have to go out there. It's a very important phase in my career. I qualified as a chartered accountant. Last 7 decades, only 300,000 people have gone on to prefix C against their name. It is such a huge responsibility. Now I'm at a stage of my career where I am appearing for an interview tomorrow. It demands sacrifice. It certainly demands sacrifice. Even if you are not wanting to study, no problem. Don't spend time watching IPL because it is unnecessarily going to stress your eyes and everything. You don't want to do anything, just relax. Maybe some music, right? The idea is not to waste time, not to waste time. And don't get tempted to do something. Uh, Once you are a professional, you have to develop the ability of prioritizing, right? In as much as you love something on a given day, if you don't have to go with that, then you should also know how to be detached with it, right? Now, like the other day on 17th of April, I was anchoring this musical show. So I was anchoring for about 4 hours live. That day, I didn't, I mean, whenever I anchor for 4 hours live, I don't end up having food. Like I didn't had lunch, as in chapati or something. I'll only have little salad or maybe little liquid because I have to be on stage for 4 hours. If I eat heavy, I will not be able to think. And on stage, sometimes the guest is coming, not coming, what's happening, artists are performing, not performing. You cannot be alert 100% if you eat too much. Now, I like eating, but you have to sacrifice your lunch that day, right?
Yeah.
But once you're over with the program, you can eat. So once you're over with your interview, IPL, everything you will enjoy. Okay? So I think that's a very good question Prabdeep ji has asked because IPL per se is not IPL. IPL is anything that is tempting for you but should not be the first priority.
Right.
Yes?
Thank you so much, Amitji. Now I request CA Hari Wadhwa from Committee for Members in Industry and Business to please propose a vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabdeep ji, for giving me the opportunity to express a vote of thanks on behalf of the Committee for Members in Industry. Amit ji, I have been listening to you since the last many years, and every time I listen to you, it's always impressive and always learning something new. I learn every time whenever I listen to you.
Thank you.
And I have to mention a few points which you mentioned about resume writing. When one has to draft a resume, one should consider many aspects, like it should be up to date, and irrelevant points should be cut out. It should be removed so that there is no confusion in the eyes of the interview team. And the content should be in storytelling manner. These are the very important points I noted down. Besides, you mentioned about sustainability and ethics, among others. Then how to handle the interview team. These are the very important tips you mentioned. And one should not appear to be fake in front of the interview team. It was very important. I noted down. And one should be in control of what he has written in his resume and what he is speaking. He should be in total control of that. And the last line, which I have been very, very impressed. You mentioned no one can reject you without your permission. It was a lovely one. So thank you very much for your precious time and your words of wisdom. Thanks for coming, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Hariji. Thank you, Prabdeep ji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amitji. Now we move on to our second session, and we have here C.A. Singaraju from Doha, Qatar. And Singa is working as a group CFO uh, and he started his career with a reputed firm in India and worked in various MNCs in leadership positions. He has experience of working in various sectors such as banking, manufacturing, trading, contracting, and retail sectors. And he has worked in senior management positions within 4 countries, namely India, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, UAE, and Qatar. Thank you so much, Singa, for being here with us today. Thank you for your time and you coming up with a very important topic, magic of mentoring. And I would like to make a mention to all the members present here that we did send one email to the participants on filling a response form where 4 questions have been asked by Singha and he needs a response of it. If you didn't receive the email, you can see on your screen, if you're watching it on a live webcast link, that there is on the right hand side, there is download presentation. And in that, a file is there with the link. So request you to please quickly refer to that file and respond to a request by our esteemed speaker, C.S. Singaraju, who who has been mentoring many young members and has been a great support in different initiatives. He is a distinguished Toastmaster, a great communicator, and a great leader, and he always come forward to support. And with this, I request all of you to please give a big virtual round of applause for C.A. Singaraju. And Raju, the screen is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhadeep, for that wonderful introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, first of all, I would like to thank the chairman of CMIB, Mr. Ranjit Kumar Agrawal, and also the vice chairman, Dr. Raj Chawla, and of course, our superstar, Prabhadeep, who can never be missed. It's always wonderful, my pleasure to speak to him. And first of all, let me congratulate each one of you for your phenomenal achievement of being a chartered accountant. And this indicates one thing, that each one of you have perseverance, persistence, and dedication to whatever you do. But let me tell you the good news and the bad news. The good news is I want to speak to each one of you at an individual level. The bad news is you will not get an opportunity to sleep because I'm not going to use any PowerPoint because I want to talk to you at a personal level. Now, don't make the mistake like I do. When I attend a session, I write down and I throw away the paper somewhere. It's gone. So I think you will receive the recording of this session, which you can go through it at a later stage and assimilate all the information that you can. Now, you might be asking, okay, what is there in it for me from this session? I tell you, we are going to have lots of fun. I'm going to share my experiences. We are going to have some stories, the lessons learned, and at the end, I'm going to give you a secret formula which will take you to heights which you never have imagined. And I always love giving to my audience some takeaway. It's going to be about 3 to 4 hours recording. That will be given at the last. I will provide you with the links. Go through it so it will kickstart your learning process as a freshly qualified chartered accountant. Now, I would like to ask you, what was your first reaction when you were qualified? I don't know how you felt, but for me, I felt top of the world, a spring in my step, and a sparkle in my eyes. And that's how I felt. I felt I was on the top of the world, achieved something great. But little did I realize that was only the starting of the journey, not the end of the journey. So now let me share some of my personal stories, what has happened. When I took up my first job in A.F. Ferguson's in Mumbai, sorry, my father gave me an advice. Work hard, you will be successful. He was right. Only 50%. I worked hard. Everyone else around me were getting promoted. So what I did, I changed 4 jobs within a span of 9 years. And then finally I landed in Saudi Arabia, where I worked for 10 years. So my point here is, I don't want you to also be, because that point of time, I was only looking for what is the salary I'm getting and which industry am I working for. That's it. The mistake I made is, I never looked at the people I'm going to work with. That was my biggest mistake. Well, in life, we don't have any regrets. We take it as it comes. So the question over here is that, had I had a mentor, probably my situation would have been different. So I was not discussing with people, what option do I have, what are the other options? No, but you guys are much more smart, much more intelligent than what we were during those times, because the means of communication was missing. We could only see it on probably newspapers or something. But anyway, we never regret anything in life, right? So now, why do we need mentors? Once, let me share some interesting experience with you. One day, one person asked me, do you know what is a cricket score? I said, no. Do you know who is playing? I said, no. His reply was, how did they issue an Indian passport? I said, oh. So he said, for Indians, cricket is in the DNA. Now, if you remember, so then I started developing interest in cricket and then watching it. And then, if you notice, there was a time when we had 2 wonderful spinners, Kuldeep Yadav and Chahal. They were performing so well. And all of a sudden, their performance plummeted to a level which they were not even considered for the Indian side, for the national team. Now, what do you think is the reason? They were also famously called, the first 3 letters of Kuldeep and Chahal, Kulcha. They were called Kulcha famously. Why do you think it has plummeted? Because that time they had Mahendra Singh Dhoni behind the stumps, who was constantly mentoring them. And when he has retired, obviously their performance took a downturn. And imagine, when we start our careers, it's very important that we have mentors, someone to mentor us. Why do you think? Like, if you say Djokovic, why does he need a coach? He is a professional. He knows everything at the highest level. And if you take any field, everyone has a mentor. Now, for you specifically, you have gone through several sessions where the first session was about self-assessment for career planning, and then you had about technology, and then you had about interviews. So you might be, you might be thinking, yes, it's the time to go. But let me tell you, mentoring will take you to places you never would have imagined. It's extremely important to have a mentor who will guide us along through our journey. Now, I have asked all of you to fill up the questions which So please, if you have time, I'll give a couple of minutes if you can answer it and send it, because see, this session is for you. The more maximum time you participate, it's going to benefit you a lot. So my only request is that go through that questions. There's no right or wrong answer. Yeah. Whatever comes to your mind, just fill it up. Okay. Now, before I go into the details of mentoring, let me tell you, how many of you know the meaning of protege? Protege is a word which means when someone is guided and supported by someone senior, or it could be an influential person. So, that is called a protege. So all of you now are proteges. Yeah. So now I have another question. Without referring to Google, think for yourself. Is there a difference between coaching and mentoring? Is there a difference between coaching and mentoring? Both are common, right? Both will result in your own self-development, but it's extremely important that you know the distinction between coaching and mentoring. Now, someone who is a coach can be a mentor, but someone who is a mentor could not be a coach. Think about it. Okay, before I go into the differentiation, let me tell you one thing. Why mentoring? Getting a job is easy, but being successful in a job is the difficult part. I repeat once again, getting a job is easy, but doing a successful job is the difficult part. Now, you might say, okay, Raju, you have a job, so you're saying like that. Well, mark my words, you will know the real meaning of it 5 years down the line. Because the most difficult thing in the world is dealing with people. Different people, different backgrounds, different cultures. So always note this point. Now, what is the difference between coaching and mentoring? Now, in terms of coaching, it is a short-term accomplishment of a goal. That is what coaching is all about. It is, for example, suppose I'm bad in technology. I'm not so good. So I will get coached by someone. That exactly is coaching. And if I need to develop, I want to learn the game of squash, I need a coaching for that. And if I'm in a difficult situation and I want to get out of it, so I take the help of Prabhadeep to be my coach, to help me out in that situation. So it is more a short-term one. So that is what is coaching. And that's what you have, like the Indian cricket team has a coach. Most of the tennis players have coaches. So that is to develop a specific skills and scenarios. Now, what is mentoring? Mentoring is something which you focus on the long-term goals. It is a responsibility, someone who takes a responsibility for providing a continuous support to achieve your goals. Someone who is always there for you. Now, in case of mentoring, you might ask me, do I need only one person as a mentor? No, you can have many mentors. But it could be physical, it could be virtual. For example, like in a similar session which I conducted some time back, there were about 35 students whom I was mentoring them in various aspects, what they want to achieve, how to do it. Because remember, it's not how many years we live. It depends on how much life we give to those years. And that can only be possible when you make a positive difference to someone else. The most common mistake we make is we are always hesitant to reach out to people. So please remember, reach out to people. You don't know him? No problem. Just give a call, get in touch with them. Can I speak to you? So it's extremely important. You're doing it for yourself. Unless you do it, it's very difficult to progress ahead. And in case of mentoring, there's more personal involvement. There's more personal involvement from both the parties. And you also decide for the future action. Now, what quality, you might ask me, okay, that's fine. Now we know the distinction between coaching and mentoring. But how do I select a mentor? What qualities should I look for? You just cannot say that, hey guy, would you like to be my mentor? He says, the hell with you. You need to have that personal touch. A mentor is someone, it's like a companionship. It's like a friendship. You tell all your issues and they will help you out. They will guide you in the right direction. Now, what are the qualities you need to see in a mentor? The first one, he has to be someone who is experienced and knowledgeable, who has actually been through the stream. Now, for example, imagine you as a chartered accountant goes to an engineer and ask him, okay, you be my mentor. Will he be able to guide you? Think about it. Probably he might be able to guide you, but the chances of a successful mentorship would be difficult because he is not someone who has gone through the grind to be able to. Now, what language an accountant speaks is difficult from what an engineer speaks, what an IT guy speaks, right? Different people have different versions. So, to connect with the people is extremely important. And another thing is they should be positive and supportive. Extremely important. Imagine a situation. You choose someone as a mentor and you say, how about if I do it like this? If I do it like that? No, you cannot do it. Forget it. This is not for you. You are not capable of it. Now, are you better off with this mentor? Think about it. Positivity is extremely important. You need to have, when you have a conversation with a mentor, it's important that you do more of the talking and the mentor needs to do less of talking. You agree? Okay, so it's your time. We catch up and express your situation. And one more key characteristic is, it doesn't mean that if you have a problem, your mentor is going to come and do everything for you. No, that's not the case. The mentor knows when he would allow you to do it by your own, and the situation when he has to step in and give his ideas. This is extremely important. The distinction, don't think that the mentor, it's like a ready-made cake which you can just eat it. No. Sometimes he will ask you to mix the batter, do everything. He will make you do it, which is important. Because ultimately, this mentorship is for you, not for him. So, someone who can guide you across, he would make you ask the questions, and he will ensure that you yourself tell the answers. That is the beauty of mentorship. And you need to have someone who is respectful and caring. That's very important. And you need to have someone who is committed and dependable. Can I rely on you? Can I count on you? Can I trust you? These are the things you need to ask. Now, let me give you one of my personal story. When I actually started my career, I was consulting with some people. Some people told me, okay, this is the line you should pursue. This is excellent. Another person told me something else. Now, for me, it was like covering myself with a half blanket. If the legs are covered, the head is out. If the head is covered, the legs are out. That was the situation I was in. I was confused. So it's preferable to have someone as a mentor. It could be physical, it could be virtual, anything. But most importantly, you need to take that initiative to reach out and say that, look, can you be my mentor? Now, even today, I have mentors. I have someone whom I look up to. They are in various countries. I know if there's an area, they know me inside out, and we catch up for a lunch or a dinner or something like that. And I reach out to them. I said, hey, I have an issue here. And you'll be surprised, one more thing. My proteges are also my mentors. It's a mutual reciprocal process. So I sometimes call them and I say, okay, what do you think about this? And they give the feedback. And so that's how we become better people. So just remember, it's important. You need to have someone as a mentor to progress ahead. Now, having said all this, you might ask me, okay, I have identified someone who is dependable, someone who is non-judgmental, someone who is very caring, who is committed, who is positive. But you as a protege also have a responsibility. What is it required from your side? This is extremely important for a successful mentorship. You need to be adaptable with a desire and willingness to learn. Now imagine that all of us go for a coaching class. If you see the lecturer or the professor, there will be a couple of students who will be his favorite students, right? Why? Because they are the one who has the burning desire in them to excel. So that is an encouragement for the professor, right? If you show the interest. So that's very important. You have to be adaptable and don't be judgmental. When someone tells you something, think about it. Think about it. And do what you feel is right. So that willingness and adaptability is extremely important. Now, you need to have a goal in life and how to overcome challenges. That's also very important. And you should be willing to consider new ideas and suggestions. That's extremely important. Let me give you a small example. When you get into a job, right, you will be given an assignment. And the same assignment, imagine that you will be asked to do 30 days in a month. What would you say? Oh my God, this is sickening, the same thing, routine. You get stressed out. But what if you think about it? Why not I do it like this? Why not I do it like that? Then you are looking at creative ways of doing the same thing. So it's very important that you should be willing to consider the new ideas and suggestions. And the next thing is, you should be open to receive feedbacks. That's extremely important for any job you are doing. Take the feedbacks. Hi, how do you think I have done it? What do you think are the areas I need to improve? I used to ask people, don't tell me what good I've done. Tell me what are the areas of improvement. This is extremely important. And remember, you should respect the mentor's time. Don't get into the issues. Be specific and ensure that you build the relationship, and you should be willing to share all your information to share the goals and all that, right? Now, it's a time for story time, okay? I'm going to tell you, this is something which I came across. There was this old lady. who was weak. She could barely hear. Her eyesight was so-so. She couldn't see things clearly. But she was, one day she went to a shop. A roadside vendor who had the mangoes around him, and looking at the old lady, feeble, frail, who was, so this guy said, yes, this is my time. So what he did, he said, this is my time to get rid of all the, overripe mangoes and things like that. So the lady said, okay, see, my teeth are not so good, but can you give me some mangoes which are overripe? He said, yes, ma'am, anything for you. And what he did, he put to one side all the overripe mangoes or the spoiled ones. And then the lady said, thank you very much for doing it. As you see, I cannot see properly or hear properly. From the other lot, which the good mangoes are there, she said, can you give me the mangoes from this lot and not from that? Then this guy was thinking, what the hell? This lady is so dishonest. She asked me for one thing and she is taking something else. This is absolutely wrong. So then what happened is, now, do you think the lady was dishonest? The reality is, he was dishonest. He was trying to deceive the old lady. But she took the good mangoes and left. Now, what is the lesson you learned from this story? Just scribble on a piece of paper. We'll talk about it later during the Q&A session. And if you have any questions, please type in and send it to the coordinators, and then I can take it up anytime. Not an issue. Now, here was a wonderful message. I think most of you might have known Arthur Ashe, right? He was a legendary tennis player. The US tennis court was also named after him. And he was a legend. And he got infected by AIDS. He got infected by AIDS, which was due to the infused blood for no reason of his. And then there was a reporter who said, why did God select you for such a bad disease? Why did God select you? Why you? This is what the reporter asked him. Then Arthur Ashe, he replied, there are 50 million children who are playing tennis, and 5 million learn to play tennis. 500,000 become professional players. 50,000 come to the circuit, and you have 4 people who reach the semi-finals, and 2 people reach the final. When I held my cup, I never asked, why me? I never asked, why me? There's a profound message in this. Good times, bad times. You need to take it with a pinch of the salt. What happens when you're happy? It keeps you sweet, right? When you go through trials in life, they keep you strong. And when you sorrow, it keeps you human. And failures make you humble. And success, it keeps you glowing. But it's only your faith which keeps you going. It's only your faith which keeps you going. Sometimes, you are not satisfied with your life, while many people would be thinking, would be dreaming of living your life. You might think that, oh my God, I took 10 attempts to clear CA exams, but there are many others who envy you because they could not get through the exam. A child on a farm sees an aeroplane and thinks, oh my God, I would dream of flying in the air. While a pilot on the plane, he sees the farmhouse and he dreams of returning back home. That's life, right? We always aspire for things we don't have. Enjoy yours. Now, if suppose wealth is a secret of happiness, you will have all the rich people dancing on the street, right? But what happens in reality? It is the poor kids who do that. If power means security, then why do we have for the VIPs? They cannot go out on their own. They cannot sleep. They cannot live a simple life. If beauty and fame can have wonderful relations, then celebrities should have the best marriages, right? Which is not the case. So, ladies and gentlemen, my only message to all of you is live a simple life. Be happy. Walk humble and love genuinely, and have a mentor to guide you along the path. Now I come to my secret formula to have a successful career ahead. There are 4 questions which you need to ask yourself whenever you're doing something. First one, why? Don't do something because someone has asked you to do it. Whenever you're doing anything, ask yourself, why am I doing it? Why? You will be surprised. You'll be surprised that you will learn much more than someone who is just doing it for the sake of it. And you'll be shocked. 80% of the people never ask the question why. The next one, why not? Don't take anything on the face value. Ask, why not like this? Why not like that? Why not like this? Have that enthusiasm, the probing mind is extremely important. That is when you walk the road which is less traveled. And that is what makes you to be a leader par excellence, because you think things in a different way. The third one, why not me? Why not me? Ask this question. It's not that whenever someone is rewarded and not you have been done. No, it has not come to you. Ask, why not me? Think yourself. Take the support of a mentor and have an open discussion with me. Why not me? Then he will tell you something which you never thought about. As our previous speaker has said, even if you're not selected in an interview, there's nothing to feel discouraged. That's not the end of the world. Remember, what cannot kill you can only make you stronger. It's tomorrow which is very important. So ask, why not me? And the fourth one, why not now? Why not now? If something has to be done, do it right now. So one common mistake which people make is, oh my God, my friend Suresh, he has a 6-hour job. Very comfortable, everything is taken care, but I have to slog 12 hours. Don't ever think like that. When you have a difficult situation, handle it. take the help of your mentor. Because remember, like coal, when a pressure is applied, you get a diamond. Likewise, every situation which is challenging gets the best out of you. Now, you might not know about it, but this is where the mentor comes in. And he will give you a different perspective. So, but basically what you need is that you need to have the passion or the desire in what you do. If you don't have the passion, change the job. So find out, be passionate in whatever you do. And remember, hard work never goes for waste. If not today, tomorrow it's going to pay up. So it's extremely important. So whenever you do a job, you have seen the previous session about interviews and things like that. But here it's extremely important that you also do some background about the person you are reporting to and the nature of the job. Know about it and take the guidance from a mentor to ensure that you have a successful career. The next important thing is keep things simple. Keep things simple, which is the most difficult thing because people complicate it to such an extent that you feel, wow, probably I could not do it. No, keep it simple. Don't take a backseat till you understand something. Once you understand, and remember, when you join an organization, within the first 1 month, if you don't understand what's going on, even if you spend 20 years in that company, you will never understand. Remember this. When you join an organization, it's extremely important that you learn how much you can during the first phase of your life. And keep things simple. That's very important. Now, I would like to get back to my questions, what I asked you. Do we have any replies, Pravdeep?
No reply for your questions here, just a comment that mentoring is referred as framework development.
Which one?
Mentoring is referred as framework development. This is a comment by Amit. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Now here, the thing is, as they say, not all problems have the same solution. I repeat once again, not all problems have the same solution. So what works for me might not work for Pradeep. What works for Pradeep might not work for someone else. So always remember that mentor is a companionship. Mentoring is about friendship. Mentoring is about someone who is there to put a hand on your shoulder, take you through your long journey. Now, what I will do is I will take you through the questions which I've sent. What is the importance for your career? Is it the journey or the destination? Can some of you type in some quick answers? What is important for your career? Your journey or the final destination? So, do we have any answers?
Not here. Raju, maybe some have responded on your link also earlier. Maybe there also you can explore.
Okay.
If it comes, I'll let you know.
Okay, no problem,
Yeah.
no problem. No, it is, okay, let me tell you. Remember, journey or destination. For me, journey is important. Once you have a successful journey, then the destination will be taken care by itself. Now, is that the right answer for everyone? Probably not. But in my opinion, the process is important. The process is extremely important. What quality of life you live on a daily basis is extremely important because that determines your future destination. So remember, the journey is more important than the final destination. Because I might do some hook or crook and do something to reach that position. But can I sustain it if I didn't have a pleasant journey? So remember, your journey is very important. The second question is, do you have a mentor in your life? Well, the obvious answer would be the yes, because we had our parents who are mentoring ourselves, or your elder brother, elder siblings, who actually helped us in our journey of life, right? So we did have mentors, but we didn't know about the term called mentorship, right? But we had someone to coach us, to guide us, to take us to whatever we are today is, okay, our efforts plus the support we receive from people around us. Like, what do you think? These sessions which is being organized wonderfully by CMIB, they are assisting you. They are kickstarting your journey of a successful career. So, we do have mentors. And do you know where you will be in 3 years' time? Now, if I was in your position, I might tell myself, what a stupid question. Because, you just entered, you just started the journey, right? So unless you have the information, it's very difficult to know where you will be in 3 years' time. Now, here I will give you a secret. Suppose, let's assume that you want to be a CFO of a company. What you need to do is take some CFOs and ask them, speak to them, find out what they do, how they do, and keep them as role models, and accordingly ensure you need to have patience. It's not something that just happens like that. So ensure that you get connected to people whom you idolize. Suppose you want to be a professional banker, get in touch with someone who is a professional banker, get mentoring from them, and ensure that you are on the required path. Now, the last question was, what position would you like in an organization? You want to be a big fish in a small pond, or a small fish in a big pond? Which one you think would be better? For me, if I'm in your place, I would like to be a small fish in a big pond when I'm starting my career. Because you need to know the tricks of the trade. You need to have the tools. You need to have the skills. You need to develop them. You're still in the formation, like a baby is born. It's still in the formative years. So try to learn from people. Reach out to people. And once you feel that you're at a stage where you have the necessary confidence, you have the skill sets, that is the time you can be a big fish in a small pond. Now, let me give you an example over here. Now, I was interviewing some people for the, finance manager's position in one of the subsidiary organizations, and I was looking for big fish in a small pond. You know why? Because small fish in a big pond, they are stuck to one particular role. They don't have the ability to see at the global perspective of all the things which is happening. They don't have nowadays when people recruit you, they will see how can I use Raju to my extent, how he can be useful to me, how he can assist me. That's what the employer will look for. So what I'm saying is that develop the skills, be a small fish in a big pond. So you can say that, okay, I have the big four experience. I have the, working with a, you have a tagline or a brand. Once you acquire all the skills, be a big fish in a small pond. That's when you acquire, that you will show people that I'm in charge because I'm in charge of myself. So it's very important that you see once you learn the skills, then you get to the next level where you can exhibit your skills and ensure that your skill development takes place all the time. Now in this pandemic, hopefully it has come to an end, but this was a wonderful opportunity for skill development. You can get in touch with anyone across the globe without any apprehensions. You don't need to travel anywhere. Just with a click of a button, you can get connected to people. Yeah. So Prabhadeep, do they have any questions?
Yes, let me check, Raju. I'll just check.
Sure.
Yes, we have one question from Amit, who is asking, sir, is books, do we consider books as our mentors?
Okay. Excellent question. Now, for that question, I'm going to ask you another question. Can you learn swimming by reading books? I think I have answered you. So the thing is, it's important. Remember, when you're starting your career, it's extremely important. As I said earlier, I still keep repeating, you have to reach out to people. And that can only happen when you communicate with people. There are many, a book is made based on one particular thoughts. What happens if you get stuck in between? Will you call up the author and find out, hey guy, I'm stuck over here, what do I do? No, right? So it's very important that we need to get connected to people and we need to have someone to mentor us. And I was really shocked, when I was mentoring some newly qualified people, I was surprised that, okay, now you cannot expect, that's another example. Like when you qualified, you feel that, yes, this is the topmost qualification in accounting and I've achieved it. I know everything, right? But when it comes to the practical situation, it's totally different. It's totally different. So always have someone to mentor you so that so imagine that there are a group of 10 people. Now all 10 people in an organization are viewing for one position. Who will be given that position? It will be given to the person who is very passionate about, who can exhibit that, yes, he has the skill sets to do it. The person who actually doesn't count the hours he actually works, who is passionate about what he does, who thinks differently, who keeps things simple, who communicates. What is the differentiating factor? Let me tell you, each one of you are uniquely talented. Each one of you have the skills which others don't have. What is that skill? And that's what mentoring can help you. They will enable you to discover that skill, harness it, and use it to your advantage to differentiate from other people. So it's very important that you can have someone, you can follow someone on YouTube, on social media, and he could be a mentor without his knowledge. You can do that. But my suggestion is, when you're starting your career, it's good to have someone who can hold your hand. and take you to places which you have never imagined. And that is the magic of mentoring. Yeah. Any other questions, Prabdeep?
Just a second, Raj.
Sure.
Yeah, so Amit has commented, who had asked the question, that yes, sir, in Atomic Habits, strong your system to achieve success, I learned. That's what he's saying. Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't get the thing. It was my voice.
He's saying that he learned something in Atomic Habits, which I think you have mentioned, that have your system, make your system strong to achieve success.
Yes. Yeah, you need to have a strong foundation. Once it's there, see, now, if I want to travel to Europe, right, I need to have my passport, right? I need to have a passport to travel to that country. Likewise, in your journey, this being a qualified chartered accountant is your passport to enter the real world. What we have read from the books, what experience we had. So it's extremely important to have a strong foundation. It's extremely important. Now, here are my contact details, which I will actually share with all of you. I have actually, now if you have your cameras, you can just zoom it on in, take a snapshot of this. Here are the 3 links. Prabhadeep, you can see it clear on the screen?
Yes, clear. It's very clear.
So, yeah, so these are the sessions which I've conducted for one of the batches. And so you can just click on this, watch these videos, so that this will kickstart your journey. It's better that when you're going for an interview, that you know some basics of how actually it happens in the real world. So take a snapshot of it and hope this will help you to kickstart your journey. And if you want to get in touch with me, here are my contact details. You can just take a snapshot of this and get in touch with me anytime. I'm there 24/7 to help each one of you. And remember, as I said, your CA qualification is only like a passport. With that comes a greater responsibility. And imagine, like me, if you're outside the country, you are an ambassador. There are certain values which you carry, how you conduct yourself. It's extremely important. And remember, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. I repeat again what I said earlier, is that it's not the number of years we have in our life, but it is the life we give to the years. That is very important. And that makes you, end of the day, when you go to bed, you need to tell yourself, yes, I made it count, my day. I have given 100%. It gives you a sense of gratification and confidence. Yeah, Prabhadeep, if there's any questions or...
Thank you so much, Raju. We don't have any questions, and I would like to make a mention that the way you support youngsters, as I said earlier, that's always make a big difference, and I wish you very best in making this big difference in the years to come. I would request CA Hari Wadhwa, who's from the Committee for Members in Industry and Business, is present here, to please propose a formal vote of thanks to you. Hari, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir, for a wonderful session. And you rightly touched upon very important aspects of mentoring. You covered almost all the aspects of this important topic of mentoring through 360 degree. I am sure that our participants would have definitely benefited through your teachings and your words of wisdom. And those who could not attend the session, I would say that they can watch it later on through our YouTube channel. And sir, the members like you are the gem of our profession. And thank you very much for sparing your valuable time, sir, and giving your words of wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Hari. Thank you, Raju. Before we close for the day, I would like to request our members present here today that tomorrow, being the fourth day, we have two sessions on communication. We have the first session on how humor plays an important role in the corporate world, followed by a session on public speaking skills. Today we had a good brush up from Raju, who is a great orator. I'm sure his topic was different, but I'm sure all the learnings that he has shared today will also help you to express yourself better or learn great things tomorrow. So please be here with us tomorrow and encourage your friends also to join. Thank you. Stay safe. Take care. Good night. Bye-bye.